Okay, so you send over this article. You're not afraid to be alone. You're afraid to meet yourself. Wow.
Yeah, that title really grabs you, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Cuts right through.
And what it gets into so well is this whole idea that, when we feel uncomfortable being alone,
Mm-hmm.
it might not actually be about the quiet itself. It's more an anxiety about what's inside.
That inner critic.
Exactly, that voice we all seem to wrestle with.
Right. And it feels like this blend,
Yeah,
like old school Stoic ideas meeting modern emotional insights.
precisely. It makes you think being okay on your own isn't just like tolerating
It's more
silence.
about the relationship you have with yourself when no one's looking.
That's it. So for this deep dive, let's really unpack that. What does it actually mean to, be with yourself based on what this article lays out?
Okay. So it kind of kicks off looking at, well, the noise, all the distractions versus real solitude.
Yeah, and it's striking, isn't it, how much noise there is, like
Yeah.
constant input.
Totally. Notifications, feeds, always something demanding attention.
Exactly. And the article points out that true quiet, it's getting pretty rare.
And when the noise does stop,
Hmm.
there's this urge, right, to fill it immediately.
Uh-huh. But maybe it's not the silence itself we're running from?
It's what comes up in the silence.
Yeah, it's like the quiet feels too loud almost because we're
Yeah.
so used to the background track.
The article uses this idea I found really interesting, the performed selves.
Oh yeah, the versions of us we show other people, the roles, the masks.
We get good at it, don't we? Playing the part.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe we forget who's underneath.
That's the core question it raises, I think. Beyond the roles, beyond what people expect, who are you really?
It's a bit confronting, actually. Like, how much of me is just reacting to others,
Hmm.
trying to fit in?
Hmm. Have we practiced the performance so much that the unscripted version feels unfamiliar,
Sure.
maybe even a bit scary?
Yeah, maybe. Which leads right into the next bit, that inner critic, that voice.
Ugh, yeah. The running commentary. And the article highlights how incredibly harsh it usually is.
Stuff we'd never dream of saying to someone else, right?
Never. I'm not good enough. Why did I do that? I always mess things up. That kind of loop.
And the crucial point it makes is, these aren't like facts about us.
No, they're reactions, often learned patterns, right? Echoes from past stuff, maybe things we picked up along the way.
This is where that Stoic angle comes in handy. Epictetus.
Right. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it.
So apply that to the inner critic.
Yeah.
Those harsh thoughts are the reaction, not the reality.
Exactly. They're a learned response, not some fundamental truth.
Which brings us to that amazing reframe question in the article. Would I say this to someone I love?
Such a simple check, but so powerful.
Because usually the answer is a hard no, right? So why is it okay to say it to ourselves?
It really forces you to see that double standard we often have, holding ourselves to this impossible ideal.
Yeah. And it kind of flows naturally from there into this other really insightful bit about private healing.
Oh, this part really resonated. This subtle, or maybe not so subtle, pressure.
To put it all out there.
Yeah.
Show everyone you're doing the work.
Yeah, like healing is another performance for the feed. Like you've got to broadcast your breakthroughs.
Exactly, like it's a show.
But the article pushes back hard on that. It just says flat out, healing is not a performance.
I loved that line.
Me too. And it talks about those quiet moments, the ones nobody sees, maybe crying alone or just sitting with that ache of missing someone.
Or just feeling rubbish without immediately trying to distract yourself or fix it.
Yes. And it suggests that some growth, some processing is almost sacred, meant to be held inside.
Not like hidden shamefully, but protected. Like you're tending to something fragile.
That's a great way to put it. Protecting the vulnerability of it, letting it happen without needing applause or validation.
Which ties into the next point, doesn't it? About sharing our dreams too soon.
Oh, yeah. The urge to announce the big plan before you've even, bought the notebook for it.
Guilty. So why does the article suggest holding back sometimes?
Well, the idea is that maybe seeking that external pat on the back too early, it can kind of dilute the internal fire.
Like you get the reward, the validation, before you've done the actual work.
Something like that. And it offers that beautiful thought. Some things grow better in silence.
It really makes you stop and think, can I nurture this idea, this hope, just for myself for a while?
Can you build that internal conviction first, let it get stronger before you put it out there?
It's about trusting yourself more, maybe. Believing in it without needing the choir.
Yeah, cultivating that intrinsic drive. Which brings us to how we handle our emotions.
Right. Another area where we get weird messages, I think. analyze everything, label it, fix it.
Like emotions are problems we need to solve immediately, diagnose and treat.
But the article flips that and says sometimes the most honest thing you can do is feel without fixing.
Which feels radical almost, just letting an emotion be there without needing to dissect it or make it go away.
Yeah. Just acknowledging it. Okay, sadness is here right now. Anger is visiting.
And it connects that to Marcus Aurelius, right?
Yeah.
That quote about having power over your mind, not external events.
Realize this,
Uh-huh.
and you will find strength.
Maybe the strength isn't in eliminating the feeling, but in how you relate to it, accepting its presence.
Just letting it be without fighting it so hard. That could actually lessen its grip, couldn't it?
Paradoxically, yes, that acceptance can be powerful, which leads to this really bold statement about self-worth.
Oh, yeah. Keep your self-worth off the market. Boom.
Huh. Yeah, it just lands, doesn't it? Such a
Yeah.
direct hit against tying our value to, well, anything external.
Achievements, approval, what other people think.
And the article points out how risky that is. Because external stuff, it shifts, it goes away.
Right, and if your self-worth is tied to it, you feel empty when it's gone.
Mhm.
Like building on shaky ground.
So true self-worth has to be internal, doesn't it? Something quiet and solid that doesn't depend on the latest win or failure.
It's just there. Intrinsic. Not something you earn or lose based on performance.
And knowing that helps with the next point, how we define ourselves. Often by roles, right? Student, parent, friend, employee.
Or labels other people give us.
But the article asks that big question. Take all that away. Who are you then?
When no one's watching, when you're not doing anything or being anyone for anyone else, just you.
What's left? And the article suggests that meeting that unperformed self, that's maybe what we're really hesitant about.
So the fear of being alone is really a fear of meeting me. Without the costumes.
That seems to be the core idea, that maybe we haven't spent enough time getting to know that person.
Wow. Okay. And then finally it wraps up with this really compassionate look at our past selves.
Yeah, acknowledging the warrior parts of us, the versions that developed coping strategies to get through tough times.
Maybe being guarded or people-pleasing or always needing to be strong. Stuff that helped us survive then.
Exactly. But the key insight is, not every version of you is meant to stay.
What helped you then might actually be holding you back now.
We outgrow those old strategies, hopefully, like shedding an old skin.
And there's that other Marcus Aurelius connection. What stands in the way becomes the way.
Yeah, reframing those past struggles, not as just baggage, but as experiences that shaped us that can actually become pathways to, well, a more authentic self now.
So bringing this all together, this deep dive really suggests that this common fear, the fear of being alone, it's often, well, it's not the full story.
Right. It seems the deeper thing is maybe an apprehension about turning inward, about facing ourselves without the usual filters and performances.
And that real solitude, the kind the article champions, it's actually an opportunity.
An opportunity to come home to yourself, as it puts it, by facing our stuff, our truths, feelings, dreams, honestly, without needing the outside world to validate it all.
It's about building that internal connection, that relationship with the actual you.
Exactly. A deeper, more authentic one.
So maybe the final thought to leave listeners with is this. What parts of that unperformed self might you be avoiding? Just gently, maybe.
And what could you potentially gain, maybe more understanding, more acceptance, if you met that self with a bit more curiosity, a bit more kindness?
Just being present with who you are underneath it all.
Lots to think about there. Thanks for exploring this with us.